Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always. What are we digging into today?
Well, this time we're looking at an article called Open to Everything.
Okay, interesting title. Tell me more.
It was written by Shawn Wondunna Foley
Yeah?
and published, well, just last week actually, February 17th to be exact.
Very recent. And what's the article all about?
It's all about this idea of, well, being open to everything, as the title suggests, but really it's about how that openness can lead to like massive personal growth and transformation.
I can see that. I mean, if you're closed off to new experiences and ideas, you're probably not going to grow much, right?
Exactly. And they also takes it a step further, suggesting that by being open, we actually align ourselves with the universe.
Align ourselves with the universe. Okay, I'm intrigued. How does that work?
So the article argues that the universe has this like energy or flow that's constantly working to manifest our best lives.
Interesting. So by being open, we're kind of tapping into that energy and allowing it to work its magic.
That's the idea. And I have to say, the article has this really positive, like can-do spirit.
Hmm.
It's pretty infectious, actually. It makes you
Yeah.
want to, you know, throw open the doors and see what the universe brings.
I can definitely see the appeal of that. It's kind of like instead of resisting life's ups and downs, we're embracing them and trusting that they're leading us somewhere amazing.
Exactly. So shall we dive into some of the key points?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so one of the first things that jumped out at me was the article's emphasis on how openness creates space for, well, for new opportunities in relationships, things that are like designed to support our, highest potential.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like if we're not open to meeting new people or trying new things, we're essentially closing ourselves off to a whole world of possibilities, right? Like, think about it. Some of the most fulfilling relationships and experiences in your life probably came about because you were open to something new.
Oh, absolutely. I could think of so many examples of that in my own life.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be anything drastic either. Sometimes it's just about being willing to say yes to something that scares you a little or steps outside your comfort zone.
So true. It's like pushing ourselves a little bit, right?
Yes. And speaking of pushing ourselves, the article then dives into this really fascinating concept called universal synchronicity. Have you ever heard of that?
Um, I
Ah,
think I have, but remind me.
sure. It's the idea that the events in our lives are all interconnected in a meaningful way rather than just random occurrences. You know, like how some people believe that everything happens for a reason.
Right, right. So it's like even the things that seem random are actually part of some bigger plan.
Exactly. And the author of Open to Everything suggests that these synchronicities, these meaningful coincidences, are actually messages from the universe.
Messages. Like trying to guide us or tell us something.
Exactly. But here's the catch. We have to be open to receiving those messages. If we're too focused on our own plans and expectations, we might miss the signs. Ah, that
Mhm.
makes sense. It's like we need to, pay attention and trust that the universe has our back, even if we don't always see the big picture.
Exactly. And this reminds me of something you mentioned earlier, that time you bumped into your old colleague at the coffee shop, and it led to a whole new career path.
Oh, yeah. That was crazy. I was like so lost at the time, considering a career change, but not sure where to even start. And then, bam, there she was. And she ended up introducing me to my mentor, who's been like instrumental in helping me figure things out.
See, that sounds like a prime example of synchronicity at play. You were open to the possibility of change, you were in the right place at the right time, and the universe provided the connection you needed.
Wow. Yeah, when you put it like that, it really does feel like more than just a random encounter.
And the more open we are, the article suggests, the more attuned we become to these synchronicities. It's like we're tuning our internal radio to the universe's frequency. I love that analogy. Tuning into the universe's radio station. That's a great way to think about it. So it's less about passively letting things happen and more about, actively recognizing the signs and trusting the process.
Exactly. And this leads to another really interesting point the author makes, which is that this openness, this alignment with the universe, can lead us to a path of, well, what he calls freedom, prosperity, and an awakened life.
Okay, so not just personal growth, but also like abundance and a deeper sense of purpose.
Right. And the author emphasizes that this isn't some kind of, mystical or unattainable state. He actually provides some very practical steps that we can take to cultivate this way of being.
Oh, that's helpful. So what are some of those simple habits or daily actions that he mentions? I'm always looking for ways to level up my life?
Well, he talks a lot about the importance of mindfulness, just being present in each moment and paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Not just going through life on autopilot.
Right, being more intentional with our choices.
Exactly. And then it's about aligning those actions with our deepest desires. Like, what do we truly want to create in our lives? What are our dreams and aspirations? And then what small steps can we take each day to move towards those goals?
It sounds like a lot of it comes down to, taking action, even if it's just small steps, but also trusting that the universe is like conspiring with us to make it happen.
Absolutely. It's a bit like planting a garden. We plant the seeds, our intentions and actions, and the universe provides the sunlight and rain, nurturing those seeds to help them grow.
I love that analogy. So even if we can't see the results right away, those small actions are still contributing to our growth, right?
Exactly. And it's important to remember that growth isn't always linear. There will be times when we feel like we're taking 2 steps back for every 1 step forward, but that's all part of the process.
So it's about embracing those challenges and trusting that they're ultimately leading us in the right direction.
Right. And speaking of trust, that brings us to another bold statement the author makes, which is that the universe's energy is unstoppable in helping us manifest our best lives.
That's a pretty powerful statement. It definitely gives a sense of hope and possibility.
It does. However, it's not about sitting back and expecting the universe to magically deliver everything on a silver platter. We still need to put in the effort. We still need to cultivate our garden. But when we align our intentions with action and remain open to the universe's guidance, amazing things can happen.
So it's a partnership, really. We do our part, and the universe does its part.
Exactly. And the article ends with this really inspiring call to action. It's about embracing the flow of abundance and transformation, actively participating in creating a life of freedom, prosperity, and awakening.
So it's not just about being open to receiving, but also about actively creating and shaping our reality.
Yes. It invites us to be active participants in our lives, to trust the process and to celebrate the journey, even with its inevitable challenges and surprises.
Wow, so much to think about. This article has really given me a lot to chew on.
Me too. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that openness isn't just some passive state of mind. It's an active choice we make every day, a way of approaching life that can lead to incredible growth and transformation.
Well said. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd love to hear what resonated with you most, listeners. Do you believe in the power of openness and the idea that the universe might be working in your favor?
And how can you apply these concepts to your own life? What small steps can you take today to open yourself up to new possibilities and align yourself with the universe's flow?
Thanks for joining us on this thought-provoking exploration. Until next time, keep those minds open and those hearts full of possibility.
See you next time.